ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे नानाशास्त्रविचारिणैकनिपनौ सद्धर्मसंस्थापकौ लोकानां हितकारिणौ त्रिभुवने मन्यं शरण्याकरौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजना नान्देन मत्तालिकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Dasa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving affairs, loving service of Radha and Krishna. Okay. कृष्णेति यस्य गिरितं मनसा ध्रियेत दीक्षास्ति चेत् प्रणतिभिश्च भजन्तमीशं शुश्रूषया भजन विज्ञमनन्यमन्या निन्दातिशून्यहृदमीप्सितसङ्गलब्ध्या. Translation. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, Diksha, and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So, how many of you have read the verse, today's verse? Great. Okay. Now I'm going to divide you into the groups and please make a presentation. How many types of devotees are we having here in this verse? If you have read it or you read now, 5 minutes, and then come back and make a presentation of the different. After that, I will go ahead. 3 breakout rooms manually assigned, automatically assigned. 5 minutes. Okay. I have assigned the breakout rooms, Palak. We were late in joining.
Oh,
So,
yes.
in
Sorry,
what group
Mataji.
you are in, I don't know. Because it will
Oh,
happen automatically.
oh, okay. Yeah, I can do the activity on my own, Mataji, if you can guide me.
Three types of devotees, each. Oh, I didn't tell you who are all doing what. Okay, hold on. Let me close all the groups and come back. Now that you are here. Are they coming back? Sorry, I didn't put the task itself when I just made the groups. So group 1, Kanishta, group 2, Madhyama, group 3, Uttama. If you have read the words, you know what you are talking.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah.
Thank you.
Basically, I'm assigning.
So what do we have to do about three types of
The
devotees?
presentation of what you have understood.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sorry. Okay.
One is Uttama or one is Kanishta?
Starts at Kanishta.
Okay.
Priyanka, you have not joined it.
Yeah, Mataji, I'm not seeing the option to join it.
What?
I didn't get the option to join a room. How do
I'll move you. Palak, have you not joined yet?
Mataji, I did not get one. I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, so we were Kanika Mataji, Palak Mataji, Narnarayan Prabhu, and I. We jotted some points on Kanishthadikari. Actually, can you please allow to share the screen?
Yeah. Somewhere to. You want to ask? Then I can do that.
Okay. Sorry, 1 minute. Why? Yeah, the Kanishth Adhikari. So he's a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. Everyone should respect the Kanishth Adhikari also, even though he's at the lowest platform, because he's still chanting the holy names and he has received the Harinam. But one should actually not remain at this level and they should try to elevate themselves to the advanced levels, because such a person is actually only engaged in the worship of deity, but he does not know how to behave toward devotees or people in general. So he cannot see the super soul in all other living beings, which is the higher principle. So he does not know like how to behave toward devotees, but he is still worshipping the deity in the temple. So one point added by Kanika Mataji was that one should elevate themselves to the higher platforms, but not imitate them. So they should progress like gradually. And one point said by Narnarayan Prabhu was that because they have received the Harinam initiation, they should know how to approach a spiritual master, which we learned in 4.34, Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas. So by approaching the spiritual master in that way, they can serve the pure devotee and they can elevate themselves to the higher other levels. And one example given by Palak Mataji was that of Maharaj Dhruv, because he was in search of the kingdom, like he wanted kingdom at first. So
He
he,
was a Kanishta, then became a Uttama. You meant to say
Yeah.
that example.
right.
Okay, thanks. Thanks,
Thank
Group 1. Group 2 can go now. Who is presenting?
Mataji, I will just be reading from the text if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bigyan Prabhu, Devi Mataji, and I discussed this. We'll be talking about Madhyama Adhikari. So, when one has actually received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has fully engaged, and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, this person is called a Madhyama Adhikari. Basically, they're situated in the midway of Kanishta Adhikari and Uttama Adhikari. So there's a quote from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:246, where they say that the Madhyama Adhikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes friends with the Lord's devotees, is merciful to the ignorant, and avoids those who are envious by nature. It's also mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.67 that a person whose conclusive knowledge of the Shastras is not very strong, but who's developed firm faith in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and who's also underrated in the execution of his prescribed devotional service should be considered a Madhyama Adhikari. Such a person is very fortunate.
Recording in progress.
So such a person is called the Madhyama Adhikari. Bigyan Prabhu, do you have anything else to share?
Included 3 points, right?
Yeah, I mentioned those points we discussed, Prabhu.
Yeah, so yeah, those were the discussed one, yeah. That covers, I guess.
Yeah, and it just says like they have Shraddha, so strong faith. So they're a candidate for further advancement. So they're, as Priyanka Mataji said, they're midway, and they have to have faith. The Kanikta Adhikari, they don't have as much faith as the Madhya Adhikari. So this individual is in the mid state, but should increase their devotion so that they become a Uttama Adhikari.
Thank you, Group 2. Group 3. Who's presenting?
Okay, I'll present Mataji. So, Uttamadhikari, we had Ramina Mataji in our group, Krishna Avtari Das, and Uttama Bhakti Devi Dasi in our group. Ideally, she should be presenting, but I'll do it on the groups we have. So, continuing on the point where Devi Mataji left off, the Uttamadhikari has the knowledge of Shastras and full faith, and they consider themselves to be as they've realized themselves as the eternal servitor of Krishna, just like Prabhupada always said, he's the servant of the servant of the servant. And their only business is spreading Krishna consciousness and always thinking of Krishna. And they are recognized by their ability to convert the fallen souls into Vaishnavism. And one more thing that came about in our discussion was that they never criticize others. They see everyone as a devotee and see Krishna in everyone. So this reminded me of that verse, I think it's 7.19, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gyanvan Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samaatma Sudurlabha. And the examples that they are fit to be a spiritual master, of course. The examples we could think of all the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas and including Prabhupada and even the spiritual masters that we see who are giving initiations, they also fall in the category of Uttama Adhikaris. Ramina Mataji, Krishna Das, Uttama Bhakti Mataji, if there's anything I missed, please feel free to add.
No, Mataji, you have included every part.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
So, yeah, we will describe that, summarize that. What is the different levels of devotees that we have from the Shastra based on the parameters such as Diksha, the Shraddha, their chanting of holy name, their knowledge over scriptures, and their vision. So, based on these parameters, the Diksha. So,
Are you sharing the screen, Mataji?
no, I'm not sharing. No slides.
Okay.
We're going to read from Veda base after I summarize. Okay. So the Kanishta, based on the Diksha given by Rupa Goswami, Kanishta Adhikari chants the holy name. Right? So Diksha is initiation. He also chants and he has received the initiation. Madhyama Adhikari receives the initiation. Actually, the initiation is twofold, as you all know. One is the Harinam initiation and the next is the Brahmana initiation. So in all the revealed scriptures, when you speak about Diksha, it's mostly the Brahman Diksha that they speak because Harinam initiation is just the beginning of the spiritual life. So Harinam is just the beginning. Anyway, so Kanishta Adhikari would have received the Harinam, he chants the holy name. But a Madhyama, he vows to follow those principles of Diksha, such as Brahmanical mantra chanting and various other mantras, if he is also doing Vedic rituals. And he worships the deity using the mantras. That's Diksha, for Diksha. And Uttama is, he has the full divine, Divya Gyan. There is a full knowledge. And the process of initiation is complete because they are applying whatever they have understood and they have learned. So the process of initiation is complete. The full divine knowledge they have. So that was on the Diksha. Then Diksha itself is not like a one-time activity. Once they receive Diksha, how will you go from Kanishta, who is a Harinam, to Madhyama, who is a Brahmana, and then to Uttama, who has got the essence of what the Diksha means, based on their Shraddha. The Shraddha is what keeps growing, and of course, applying the knowledge that they have understood, and that is how the knowledge develops and the faith develops. So Shraddha is the next parameter. Next, in the Shraddha, the faith, there is some adhikar that they receive. You see, some of the acharyas in our movement are called as adhikaris. That means being in their ashram, they have some adhikar of being in an ashram. However, they're so qualified that they can make spiritual devotees all over the world. So that's their adhikar. So Shraddha is the faith. So the next level is the faith in a Kanishta Adhikar is very Komala Shraddha, soft and pliable. It can fall. Anytime this devotee can fall down from his position because his Shraddha is so soft that he sees some deviation somewhere, and then he becomes very agitated and said, I'm not going to follow this process because devotees are like this. Like he is labeling everyone under the same category. So the soft. But how to become staunch? Only when you develop the Shastric knowledge, your faith you become convinced no matter what. I'm going to stick to this process. Only when that conviction comes. So the Shraddha is very important. In the beginning stage, the Shraddha is very soft and pliable. In the later stages, the Shraddha is Shraddhaban. There is lot of conviction. Probably you all are aspiring to that stage, Madhyama stage. The conviction is very strong. What makes the difference is the application, because you would have seen everything, what you are supposed to know. Chanting of the holy name, worshipping the deity, reading Shastra, associating with devotees, you have understood this. But where the conviction is, when you apply this and do it with your heart, then you become Shraddhavan. So the firm conviction becomes in the Shraddha. And that is for the Madhyama. In the Uttama, the Shraddha becomes unshakable. It is unshakable. Like even in the Madhyavan stage, there may be some things that you don't see generally, then you see, then it might be very disturbing. But in the Uttama level, they don't see any difference in it. It is unshakable, Shraddha. That's on the Shraddha, faith. Coming to the Shastric knowledge, Shastra, the Adhikar that they have received from the Shastric knowledge. In the beginning stages of Kanishta, the Shastric knowledge is very little knowledge. Therefore, tendency for karma and jnana. They have a lot of tendency to do karma-kandic rituals and jnana-kandic rituals. And it is very soft. Again, the knowledge is very little. In the Madhyama, they begin to become serious about Shastric study. And this is where they want to develop the knowledge and probably may not be able to defeat all types of arguments that come across. We have some knowledge, but we cannot defeat everything that comes across. There's a what about this? What about this? When Prabhupada, when he was teaching his disciples in the beginning stages, he would go on morning walks, right? So, and in those morning walks, Prabhupada would put forth an argument and ask the devotee to defeat that argument. He will then take the opposite argument and says, now you defeat me. So this is how we will have to say, how do you know if Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? For example, he says, that is a question he poses. And the devotee say, Prabhupada, you told all of us that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's like straightforward answer. Now, he will twist it. Now he'll become an atheist. How can you limit your knowledge only to one particular Shastra? Then he will ask the devotees to defeat that as well. So then the devotees will scratch their heads. So he is encouraging devotees to make arguments from different angles and conclusively make your reasons as to why this is such. That knowledge can come only with the serious study of Shastra from different angles and developing and having that seriousness. So that is Madhyama Adhikari. In the Uttama Adhikari, he is expert in all the Shastric knowledge. He can quote verses left, right, center, different arguments from different Shastras, be able to provide examples from different Shastras, making one point. He'll read one Shastric point in this book, and then he'll bring various other knowledge from different Shastras and make a point. And he will not be defeated by any arguments. Cannot be defeated. That is the Uttamadhikari. And coming to the chanting of the holy name. Chanting of the holy name as mentioned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. He chants the holy name in the beginning stages as Nama Parat. What is Nama Parat? Some of this terminology you will encounter in the Nectar of Devotion also. Nama Parat is offensive chanting. You would have heard this. Where there is aparadas while the chanting is happening. Various distractions that happen, and the way we chant itself becomes the Nama Parad. In the Madhyama Adhikari stage, the chanting of the holy name is 24/7, constantly, either in the mind or in the mouth, through the mouth it has happening, but it is mostly clearing stage, which is called Nama Bhas. Abhash is still there are some impediments or in some like it's not cleared. It's clearing stage. Nama Abhash is when you see the reflection. Abhash means reflection. So it is reflection of the pure holy name. That is called Namabhas. That is where Madhyama Adhikaris are chanting. The Uttama Adhikaris, when they chant, it is Shuddhanam. And it is not by their effort, it is descended upon them because of their status, because of their level of conviction and applying the process, their expertise in the knowledge. The Shuddhanam descends. It's not by their means, it's not by their effort, but the chanting that they do is Shuddha. So that's on the chanting of the holy name. And the vision of a Bhagavat from the Srimad Bhagavatam of a Kanishta is he only sees Krishna on the altar. He goes to the temple and sees some devotees, you will see, they are very regular for Sunday feast. They stand right in front of the altar and they see Krishna. And they also know that they are devout because they have initiated. They have their vision of their spiritual master and think that he is the only spiritual master who can make disciples all over the world. The rest of them don't have that much. My spiritual master is the greatest. My spiritual, anyway, so it's very constricted view. And Krishna and my spiritual master. This is what my world is. My devotional world is. This is a Kanishta thought process. So that is their vision. Whereas a Madhyama, how he does is, he has relationships that are developed. And he looks at like the fourth verse, that the relationship between the fifth verse and this verse is where you need to see the differences between the relationships that we talked about. How are you applying to different levels of devotees? Relationships that we spoke last, Dadati Pranegranati, Viyam Akyati Prachati, Bhunte Bhojayate Chaiva, Shadvitam, Priti Lakshana. So these Priti Lakshanas that we have to develop among the four types of, among different relationships in the devotee circles. And what those and how they apply them is where Madhyama comes. In the Madhyama, there are four relationships. One is he is in full love of Krishna. That is in prema with Krishna, for Krishna. And he makes devotees like-minded. When he has like-minded, he sees devotees in the temple who have the same temperament as they are. He or she makes relationships with them, friendship. And for the innocent people, like who don't have any knowledge about Krishna and they want to give this knowledge, they go and they are very compassionate to those innocent people. The innocent people are either it could be Kanishtas or neophytes or anyone. So they're very compassionate. Someone doesn't know something, they're very compassionate and explains it to them. So Madhyama is that. And they're also very indifferent to envious. Envious people, they should not interact, that they know. That's on the vision. For the Uttama, he doesn't differentiate. He says Krishna in everywhere. That's why in preaching, one has to be at the Madhyama level because they need to be able to differentiate. Uttama is, like they don't differentiate because they see the super soul in each and every heart. And for them, it doesn't make any difference. They think everyone is purified. Everyone is at that stage because they don't see. See, we see the world through our own lens, right? However we see the world, whatever we perceive of the world is our lens actually. This is how we see. It's not theirs. It is our own vision. So we become, and the Uttama doesn't see any difference between the different souls. However, for preaching purpose, they need to come down into Madhyama so that they can preach. Because in the preaching, there is a differentiation that has to be made. They will not go and preach to the envious people because envious people are against the principles. So they have to make a difference. In Uttama stage, he won't make any difference. Madhyama, he will make a difference. So he will have to make the differentiation. So that is the vision of the different types of devotees. Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. In the Kanishta category also, there are three levels. One is the Prakrita, Sahajiyas. They are, Prakrita means materialistic. Sahajiyas is, they may chant the holy name of the Lord, but they think that they are already in the mood of gopis. They can dance with Krishna. They even display such symptoms in the temple sometimes. So they are Prakrita Sahajiyas. Then there are Prakrita Bhaktas, the materialistic. They will chant the holy name, but still have those tendencies to do jnana and karma. It is Prakrita. And then Bhaktas. And then there are Harinam Diksha, neophyte devotees, who we just saw, like all these four categories. Shraddha, they are Komala Shraddha, they chant the holy name. They don't have, their Shraddha is very soft and pliable. They don't have a lot of Shastric knowledge. And they see the vision from their own lens. Think that I come here only for Krishna and that's about it. I don't want to make any relationships with other devotees. So that is in essence this chapter, but we can read the purport completely today by taking turns so that we know what we are talking. Sonal Mataji, please read the first paragraph.
Yeah, just give me a moment. I'm just getting my glasses. Sorry.
In the meanwhile, someone is going to read. Krishnavadari Prabhu, please read the first paragraph.
The purport only, Mataji.
Yes.
In order to intelligently apply the sixfold reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper person with careful discrimination. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way according to their particular status. In this verse, he tells us how to deal with the three types of devotees, the Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. The Kanishtadhikari is a neotype who has received the Harinama initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name received. Holy name, where is this? The holy name of Krishna. One should respect such a person within his mind as Kanishta Vaishnava. The Madhyama Adhikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Madhyama Adhikari should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. The Uttamadhikari or highest devotee is one who is very advanced in devotional service. And Uttama Adhikari is not interested in blemishing others. His heart is completely clean and he has attained the realized state of unalloyed Krishna consciousness. According to Srila Rupa Goswami, the association and service of such Mahabhagavata or perfect Vaishnava are most desirable.
Okay. So how one can associate with these devotees is when you see a Kanishta, now you know the differences between the various types of devotees based on their adhikar. When you see a Kanishta adhikari, you offer him respects in your mind. And in a Uttama adhikari, you will, if you are at the same level, same temperament, then you associate with them. And Madhyama. Uttama adhikari is when you serve them, serve such devotees so that you get benefited. So that is about that paragraph. Next. Sonal Mataji, are you okay to read now?
Yes, Mataji, I can read now.
You can also read from your books if this is hard to recite. I mean, follow from the screen. That's not what I'm asking. You can read from your books as well. Okay, next paragraph.
One should not remain a Kanishta Adhikari, one who is situated on the lowest platform of devotional service and is interested only in worshipping the deity in the temple. Such a devotee is described in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 11.2.47. Archayam eva hare pujam yah shraddhayate na tat bhakteshu chanyeshu sabhaktah prakratah smritah. A person who is very faithfully engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple, but who does not know how to behave toward devotees or people in general, is called a Prakrata Bhakta or Kanishta Adhikari. Should I read more?
Yes.
One therefore has to raise himself from the position of Kanishta Adhikari to the platform of Madhyama Adhikari. The Madhyama Adhikari is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.46 in this way: ईश्वरे ईश्वरे तद अधीनेषु बालिशेषु द्विषत्सु च प्रेम मैत्री कृपोपेक्षा यः करोति स मध्यमः. The Madhyama Adhikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes friends with the Lord's devotees, is merciful to the ignorant, and avoids those who are envious by nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So while Kanishta worships only the deity in the temple, and that's what his business is, he keeps that much only. Whereas a Madhyama also worships the deity in the temple, as well as make friendships, as we discussed. The friendships are 4 types. One is for the Uttama devotee, he makes friendship with Krishna and he tries to revive his relationship with Krishna, developing his love. With the next set of devotees who are like-minded, he develops friendship. He doesn't differentiate my spiritual master's disciple or other spiritual master's disciple. They make friendship from all the devotees if they can gel well with them. So you will see where your progress is. If you are only having this friendships within your spiritual master's group, then that means this is basic. This I'm not telling this is Shastra. So this is when you make friendship from all types of people, provided you are having same like-minded, then you can make that kind of friendship with those. Then that is where the Madhyamadhikari is making progress. Then to the innocent, they don't differentiate between the innocent people, because innocent people, they don't know anything about Krishna. So they want to give them that knowledge. They distribute books. Then we don't give a book to a non-envious person, because he is envious. He won't take it. He will just reject and put the book in the trash, for example. So we need to differentiate. So Madhyama does that. He approaches the innocent people who are ready to accept this message and ignores the envious people. Yes, next. Uma Mataji, please read.
This is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has advised us how to treat various devotees. We can see from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrita Sahajiyas generally chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, yet they are attracted to women, money, and intoxication. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. Those who are innocent but simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instructions from pure devotees. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. In this Krishna consciousness movement, a chance is given to everyone without discrimination of caste, creed, or color. Everyone is invited to join this movement, sit with us, take prasad, and hear about Krishna. When we see that someone is actually interested in Krishna consciousness and wants to be initiated, we accept him as a disciple for the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. When a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in devotional service by the orders of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava and obeisances should be offered unto him. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all the regulative principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as an Uttamadhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought.
Thank you, Mataji. So in this verse, we already spoke about the Prakrita Sahajiyas, we chant, but they are attached to various other vices like money and intoxication. So we don't associate with them, because one should avoid. They should respect them, because respect belongs to everyone. It's not just a devotee or non-devotee. Respect belongs to everyone. So they should be respected, at least, and offered obeisances in their mind. But we should not associate. Association we have dealt with in the last verse. What is association that we spoke about? Vigyan Prabhu, what is association we spoke about?
I was muted. Okay. So we spoke about association with the devotees and not associating with those who are not
No,
practicing
what
devotional
I'm
service.
asking is how we should associate. For a Prakrita Sahajiya, what principle we apply, you said is it is to be avoided. But generally, with devotees, what is the principle we apply?
Yeah, dadati pradigrinati. So uh, sharing prasad, sharing, revealing one's heart and sharing gifts. So that way we develop a relation with devotees.
Right. Yeah. So that is how you should cultivate the relationships. The connection between the last verse and this verse is this is where you make the difference. You share prasad, you reveal your mind, you exchange gifts. And Uttamadhikari is you associate with them and do some service to them. And Uttamadhikaris, they are always thinking on how to expand this movement, how to broadcast this message to various people, how to go outreach to various different people in all over the nooks and corner, every town and village. Uttamadhikari vision is that. Like they want to start a center in one city. So many cities are there in GTA. When one city is missing a center, so they encourage devotees to broadcast this message for those people so that they get the opportunity. And this devotees they make their efforts to. So this is the Uttama Adhikari vision. So they want to make the devotees all over the world. Okay. Palak Mataji, please read next from here.
The process, right?
Yeah, the process by which.
Yes. The process by which a devotee becomes attached to Krishna is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya 4.192. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpana, sai kale Krishna tare kare atma sama. At the time of initiation, when a devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as he himself. Diksha or spiritual initiation is explained in the Bhakti Sandarbha 868 by Srila Jiva Goswami. Divyam jnanam yako tatyat puriyat papasya sankshayam tasmad diksheti sa prakota deshikaish kovide. By Diksha, one generally becomes disinterested in material enjoyment and gradually becomes interested in the spiritual life.
Okay, we'll pause. So the process of initiation is explained here. What is it? Initiation is the devotee becomes attached to Krishna and he surrenders to the spiritual master as the medium. Spiritual master is the medium to go to Krishna. So that is how the process starts. And the initiation we saw that is a starting point. And it culminates. So you aspire, you take shelter, and they get initiation. So that's the beginning of spiritual life. And will it stop there? Because you're now initiated, you got the mark, you got the kanti, you got the beads, you got the name. We are all qualified, so you go flaunt. No, we won't do that. We apply this process continuously and come to the stage of surrender. Surrendered is the starting point. Surrender to Krishna and the spiritual master. But the surrender is not like when it begins and ends during the initiation ceremony. It's a lifelong process. It continues, moment to moment, life after life. That is a surrender. So we keep surrendering to the process, to the spiritual master, to Krishna. And in that process, all these other things that we have, the faith increases, the Shastric knowledge increases, and you are thinking about how to expand this knowledge. That is a Divya Jnanam. Divya Jnanam is expanding. And he becomes disinterested in the spiritual life and becomes only interested in the spiritual life. There's nothing else. That is what happens. Okay, we can read this on the similar topic. Shalini, please read. We have.
Yes, Hare Krishna. We have seen many practical examples of this, especially in Europe and America. Many students who come to us from rich and respectable families quickly lose all interest in material enjoyment and become very eager to enter into spiritual life. Although they come from very wealthy families, many of them accept living conditions that are not very comfortable. Indeed, for Krishna's sake, they are prepared to accept any living condition as long as they can live in the temple and associate with the Vaishnavas. When one becomes so disinterested in material enjoyment, he becomes fit for initiation by the spiritual master. For the advancement of spiritual life, Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.13 prescribes Tapasa Brahmacharyena Shamena Sadamena Cha. When a person is serious about accepting Diksha, he must be prepared to practice austerity, celibacy, and control of the mind and body. If one is so prepared and is desirous of receiving spiritual enlightenment, Divya Jnanam, he is fit for being initiated. Divya Jnanam is technically called Tat Vijnana or knowledge about the Supreme. Tat Vijnanartham Sa Gurum Iva Ba Ivabi Gachet, when one is interested in the transcendental subject matter of the absolute truth, he should be initiated. Such a person should approach a spiritual master in order to take Diksha. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.3.21 also prescribes Tasmat Gurum Prapatyeta Jignashu Shreya Uttamam. When one is actually interested in the transcendental science of the absolute truth, he should approach a spiritual master.
Thank you. So these are the two verses Prabhupada would quote always during initiation ceremonies. Tad Vijnadam Sa Gurum Eva Bhikachet. When one is interested in the transcendental subject matter of the absolute truth, he should have initiated. And Tasmat Gurum Prapadyante Jignasu Shayam Uttamam. When one is actually interested in transcendental knowledge of the absolute truth, he should approach a spiritual master. So this is the process of initiation. When one becomes rejected in the spiritual life, he should approach a spiritual master and surrender to him. That is the process. Okay, now more injunctions. Kanika Mataji, please read.
One should not accept a spiritual master without following his instructions, nor should one accept a spiritual master just to make a fashionable show of spiritual life. One must be jignasu, very much inquisitive, to learn from the bona fide spiritual master. The inquiries one makes should strictly pertain to transcendental service. Jignashu Shreya Uttamam. The word Uttamam refers to that which is above material knowledge. Tama means the darkness of this material world, and Ut means transcendental. Generally, people are very interested in inquiring about mundane subject matters, but when one has lost such interest and is simply interested in transcendental subject matters, he is quite fit for being initiated. When one is actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master, and when he seriously engages in the service of the Lord, he should be accepted as Madhyama Adhikari.
So he becomes interested in the spiritual matters, he approaches the Guru, and he seriously engages in the service. That is how he becomes himself qualified as a Madhyama Adhikari. Okay, we'll continue to read. Srinivas Prabhu, I see that you have joined. Please read.
The chanting of the holy names of Krishna, is so sublime that if one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly, carefully avoiding the 10 offenses, he can certainly be gradually elevated to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself. One who has reached such an understanding should be very much respected by the neophyte devotees. One should know for certain that without chanting the holy name of the Lord offenselessly, one cannot be a proper candidate for advancement in Krishna consciousness. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 22.6, it is said, Yahara Komala Shraddha Se Kanishta Jana Krame Krame Teho Bhakta Haibe Uttama. One whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte, but by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of a first-class devotee. Everyone begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage, but if one properly finishes chanting the prescribed number of rounds of Harinama, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform, Uttama Adhikari. The Krishna conscious movement prescribes 16 rounds daily because people in the Western countries cannot concentrate for long periods while chanting on beats. Therefore, the minimum number of rounds is prescribed. However, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, 100,000 names, he is considered fallen, patita, according to his calculation. Particularly, sorry, practically everyone of us is fallen. But because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord with all seriousness and without duplicity, we can expect the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is famous as Patita Pavana, the deliverer of the fallen. Thank you.
So we have seen this, the faith of any of our devotee, how soft and playable is this. Then one has to seriously chant the holy name to come to that next stage. And Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada has given us the minimum recommended rounds for chanting is 16. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who says that whoever doesn't chant 64 rounds of japa is a fallen, is a patita. So that's a very high standard, but we need to stick to the standard that Prabhupada has given us. We are, apart from Rupanugas, we are Prabhupada Anugas. So we follow what Prabhupada says. Next, someone read. Priyanka Mataji, please read.
When Srila Satyaraj Khan, a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asked the Lord how a Vaishnava could be recognized, the Lord replied, Prabhu kahe yandra mukhe suni eke bara, Krishna nama se hi puja shrishta sabakara. If one hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. Madhya Leela 15.106. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Atevara yandra mukhe eka Krishna nama, sei ek Vaishnava karihe tanhara samana. Should I continue, Madhavi?
Yeah.
One who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna or who, by practice, likes to chant Krishna's name should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respects as such, at least within one's mind. Madhya Leela 15.111. One of our friends, a famous English musician, has become attracted to chanting the holy names of Krishna, and even in his records, he has several times mentioned that holy names of Krishna. At his office, he offers respect to the pictures of Krishna and also the preachers of Krishna consciousness. In all regards, he has a very high estimation of Krishna's name and Krishna's activities. Therefore, we offer respects to him without reservation, for we are actually seeing that this gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should always be shown respect. The conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regular chanting of holy names should always be respected by Vaishnavas. On the other hand, we have witnessed that some of our contemporaries, who are supposed to be great teachers, have gradually fallen into the material conception of life because they have failed to chant the holy name of the Lord.
Yeah, thank you. So Mahaprabhu describes who is a Vaishnava. He says, Chaitanya Khan once in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we will see that in his encounter with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, who is a Vaishnava? He says, anyone who even says once the word Krishna, he is a Vaishnava. And that person should be accepted as the best man, because there are a lot of people who don't even know the word Krishna, leave alone he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So a person who even chants the holy name of the Lord once, he is to be revered. He is to be given respected and accepted as the best man among the common people. Because devotees are rare anyway. It's like, I don't even, so much a world population that you have. How much is the devotee population? It's very minute. So then these devotees are very rare and they're very precious. So they need to be accepted and respected. And then they says, then Mahaprabhu continued, one who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna and who by practices chants like Hare chants Krishna's name should be accepted as Vaishnava. So he's telling about Vaishnava's definition differently in different times. First he said, whoever chants once is a Vaishnava. Then he says, who practices likes to chant Hare Krishna's names should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respect within one mind. So Prabhupada is now quoting the Englishman. These are the Beatles who have developed interest in Krishna's name and have also propagated. Krishna book was sponsored by them in the beginning. What we distribute today was the first book that they contributed for its publication. So, and he has also written some notes on his realizations in Chant and Be Happy, I think, that book. So they should be, such people also should be respected because they are propagating Krishna consciousness in some way, in somehow or the other, in their own way. So that's how Prabhupada is quoting here. Ishita Mataji, please read while giving instructions.
While giving instructions to Sanatan Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided devotional service into 3 categories. Shastre Yukti Nahi Jani Drir Shraddhavan Madhyam Adhikari Se Mahabhagyavan. A person whose conclusive knowledge of the Shastras is not very strong, but who has developed firm faith in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and who is also undeterred in the execution of his prescribed devotional service, should be considered a Madhyam Adhikari. Such a person is very fortunate. Madhya Leela 22.67. A Madhyam Adhikari is a Shraddhavan, a staunchly faithful person, and he is actually a candidate for further advancement and devotional service. Therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 22.64, it is said, Shraddhavan Janahaya Bhakti Adhikari Uttam Madhyam Kanishta Shraddha Anusari. One becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform, and the highest platform of devotional service according to the development of his Shraddha faith. Should I continue or? Again in Chaitanya Charitamrita 22.62 it is said, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudrira Nishchaya Krishne Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Haya. By rendering transcendental service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident, firm faith favorable to the discharge of devotional service is called Shraddha. Shraddha, faith in Krishna, is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. Faith means strong faith. The words of Bhagavad Gita are authoritative instructions for faithful men, and whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is to be accepted as it is, without interpretation. This was the way Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna told Krishna, Sarvam etad ritam manye yan mam vadasi Keshav. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Bhagavad Gita 10.14.
Yeah. So this is the Shraddha, is the faith, comes by the Shastra, from the Shastric recitation. And after hearing Krishna speak the entire Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna said, Sarvameta Ritam Ranye Yanmam Vadasi Kesha. I will do whatever you have told me. I accept whatever you have said, so I will do whatever you have told me. So that's how it is. At the end, he says that I will do whatever you have told me. But in this verse, he's saying that I accept everything that you told me as the truth. So that's the Shraddha. How is it come? Only because of Shastric study, not otherwise. Okay, let's move. Rabina Mataji, please read.
This is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita. And this is called Shraddha. It is not that one accepts a portion of Bhagavad Gita according to his own whimsical interpretation and then rejects another portion. This is not Shraddha. Shraddha means accepting the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in their totality. Especially the last instruction, Sarva Dharman Paritajya Mamam Ekam Saranam Braja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 18, chapter sloka number 66. When one becomes completely faithful in regard of this instruction, one's strong faith becomes the basis for advancing in spiritual life.
Yeah, anything that is written in Shastra has to be accepted as it is without any interpretation. Yeah, continue to read.
When one fully engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. Unless one faithfully chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna does not reveal himself. Sevanamukhe hi jiva ado soyam eva spurate ada. Uh, uh, um, we cannot realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead by any artificial means. We must engage faithfully in the service of the Lord. So service begins with the tongue. Sevana mukhe hi jivado, which means that we should always chant the holy name of the Lord and accept Krishna Prasada. We should not chant or accept anything else. When this process is faithfully followed, the Supreme Lord reveals himself to the devotee.
Hare Krishna. So, Sevon Mukhi Jivado Swayam Eva Sprutyada. This is Srimad Bhakti Rasam Sindhu 1.2.234 is when you, with your Jibha, you continue to do your end service of chanting and taking Krishna Prasad. So that is when that, and do the service. Service with the body, mind, and with the Jiva, you take Krishna Prasad. That is how the revelation of spiritual and your own revelation, it will be revealed to you, the spiritual identity. And the process is faithfully chanting Hare Krishna Nama. So that's, so we'll conclude. Debbie, are you in a position to read?
Yes, Mataji.
Please read.
Is it when a person realizes himself?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. When a person realizes himself to be an eternal servitor of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna's service. Always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna. He understands that his only business is in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as an Uttama Adhikari, and his association should be immediately accepted according to the 6 processes, Tadati, Prati, Granati, etc. Indeed, the advanced Uttamadhikari Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master. Everything one possesses should be offered to him, for it is enjoined that one should deliver whatever he has to the spiritual master. The brahmachari, in particular, is supposed to beg alms from others and offer them to the spiritual master. However, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or a Mahabhagavata without being self-realized. For such imitation, one will eventually become degraded. Shall I continue, Mataji? In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advises the devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhya Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari. The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints to the fact that an Uttama Adhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttama Adhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava, or a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform, can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform, and it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttama Adhikari as a spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so that is one should, the Uttamadhikari is always eager to spread the glories all over the world, and one should aspire to take initiation from such Uttamadhikari. Whereas the Madhyama and Kanishta also can become spiritual masters, but their disciples will be at the same, at their only level, and they will not be able to, they make progress as much as their spiritual master has progressed. So that is how we have seen what are the 6 loving exchanges and with whom we should do these 6 loving exchanges, so that we don't get entangled and we make gradual progress and come to the level of at least Madhyama Adhikaris. And our goal should be to become Uttama, where we come to that platform, we develop love of Godhead. That this book is talking us how we can eventually make that progress. So if there are any questions, we can go through that. Now, are there any chats, messages? Okay. Yes.
Hey,
Sorry.
Krishna
Yeah, go
Mataji,
ahead.
could I just ask for the last paragraph we read? They said that we should accept instruction from a spiritual master, that's a Uttama Adhikari. But is this both for the Diksha Guru and the Siksha Guru? Do they both have to be in the Uttama Adhikari level? Or just the Diksha Guru should be the Uttama Adhikari level and a Siksha Guru can be a Madhya Adhikari? I wanted to ask you that because it says, in a sense, you're not getting the complete instruction if you're learning from a Madhya Adhikari. That's what I understood. So I wanted to ask you for that,
It's Diksha part, initiation.
only for that.
Yeah, there are 24 teachers as per Srimad Bhagavatam. You read 12th camp, 11th canto there. Everyone can be a teacher, Siksha Guru. It's how much we take from each one. But the Diksha is from one qualified Uttamadhikari. Initiation, the process of initiation is from one. Spiritual masters can be many, but the Diksha spiritual master is only one.
Thank you.
Yashita Mataji? Someone had.
Yes, Mataji. So I had a question. Actually, it got answered in the purport also, but still, I mean, it's not very much clear. So I just want to confirm. So, as here, like it all talks about the three types of devotees, the Kanishth, Madhyam, and Uttama. But the Kanishth, like that is the lowest level of devotee, and that is starting from the point of where they have got the Harinam initiation. So is it like said that a devotee is only like when he is initiated, or like if I'm not initiated, then I'm not a devotee? But then in the Purport Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, who was chanting even once is devotee, so I'm confused. Like, is there any particular definition given of who is a devotee, and how do we identify who is a devotee and a non-devotee?
Whoever chants Krishna's name is a Vaishnava. That's what Mahaprabhu has said. Even once he's a devotee, it needs to be respected. So you are, by that definition, you are a devotee and a Vaishnava who's chanting the Krishna's name. Now to the other point of who is if only if he's initiated, you said, and that is probably your confusion because you are not initiated. So how do you come to the point of initiation? Initiation, today you are a non-devotee, tomorrow you won't get initiated. It's a process, right? The surrender starts from day one. And it's a recognition only that you are getting, that you are a devotee who have accepted this process. It's a recognized, it's bona fide. But otherwise, from the time of you surrendering to Krishna and to the spiritual master, to the point of initiation, it's all surrender. The surrender process has started. It has been recognized at the time of initiation. Surrender is there on day one, throughout the day, throughout your life. From that, and it only begins to increase more and more. I hope it is clear that it is not just starting at the initiation, you become a devotee. It is starting from the point you have understood this is a process and you have to chant Hare Krishna Mantra and continuing this process. Surrender is not then. Surrender is recognized in the initiation.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Shalini Mataji.
Mataji, I have two questions. Number one, you mentioned that Adhikari is a name sometimes given to the spiritual master. So I could think of Sankarshan Das Adhikari. But I didn't understand fully, like, what does that signify, having Adhikari in the name? What Adhikar do they get?
They are in an ashram. Which ashram? You see most of the spiritual masters are on sannyas ashram. Right? But in this category, these two devotees that you mentioned, there are two devotees that come to my mind, but you said about one Mahabhagat devotee who's Shankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhu. He is not a sannyasi, he is a Prabhu. That means he is in an ashram. Varnashram Dharma. Within that, he is in the Vanaprastha stage. He has a wife and he is in that ashram. However, he is so qualified that he can make disciples. So adhikar that he has is in that category of Varnashrama, of being situated as a in the marriage ashram. He's still qualified to make disciples. So that's the adhikar he's been given. It's been earned. It's not someone possesses it automatically. One who is a devotee and who is married, and he's been given that authority, so he can make disciples because his devotion has been recognized, and he's still in that ashram, right? Such devotees are given the name adhikar.
So there are other spiritual masters also who come to my mind who are like in that Vanaprastha ashram, but they are also, in making disciples. So how are they different from the ones that have that name?
Only those who make initiated disciples are given that name.
So, for example, Vaisheshika Prabhu, he is also a householder, but he's also an initiating spiritual master, but he doesn't have
He has.
Adhikari in
He
his
has.
name.
That's why I said there are two devotees that comes to my mind. You only
Okay.
referred one. I didn't refer the other name. Just Vaisheshika Das Adhikari.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. I just have one more quick question. Uh, s- uh, just on the lines of what Yashita Mataji asked, I also had a similar question. If neophytes are the ones who are Kanishta Adhikaris as well, then basically the ones that are pre-initiation, not even Kanishta Adhikari, they are not called neophytes either. I thought neophytes are ones that were brand new, no initiation, nothing.
Brand new people or don't even talk about initiation. Do they? Do they even know that word initiation? Brand new? No. They're innocent. They can be guided because they're innocent. They can be given that process, like people who come to the temple for the first time, or few other times also they're still neophytes because they don't know anything. So you can preach them, give them a book, and they can be introduced to the process. So they are neophytes. And again, it's all depends. Even if you look at the Kanishta means who is not initiated probably. But if you speak to them, they have so much of faith in Krishna and Krishna's words and devotees. Whatever they speak, it comes out as if it is from the scripture. They haven't read the scripture, but they're so advanced in their realization, in their faith and acting in that relationship, that they have developed that much conviction. So whatever they speak, if you look at in visiting any holy dhams, and they have not read probably Srimad Bhagavatam or any other scripture, Bhagavad Gita also, but when you speak to them, you see how much of purity it is flowing from their mouth, and how much of devotion is there in them, and you can feel it. So their bhav, their realization of the Lord is so high, even they have not read scriptures. So that is their vision. They may be Kanishta in that, from the definition point of view. They are Mahabhagavats already. They may not have been initiated, but they are Mahabhagavats. Yeah, so that vision is important. You may be quoting a lot of verses from Bhagavatam. Lot of verses you can say, and you are maybe initiated for so many years doing pujari services on the altar. But what is your vision? If you keep differentiating between my devotee, my spiritual master's devotees, and the others, and don't even think of the higher vision, then it is as good as a Kanishta.
Okay,
You
thank
just
you.
don't go by the definition. Go by the bhav. Krishna is a bhavagrahi janardana. He looks at the bhava, then the qualifications.
So then on the same lines, Mataji, given that we, because in Prabhupada's purports also I read that they say how to, when you meet Vaishnavas, recognize them by their status and then dealing status in terms of Kanishta, Madhyam or Uttama. But given that, like you just said, their bhava could be very high, their vision could be very different, but superficially they might come across as a Kanishta Adhikari. And our judgment is also liable for mistakes. So should we really be categorizing people given and relying so much on our judgment? I was confused there.
Then you go to case by case. Depends. It's case by case. We're not generalizing some people who are just coming to the temple as Kanishta and then we label them for life. We don't do that. You know from the interaction. from the interaction, you interact with them and then you see how they are coming across as the Mahabhagavats or just people who are very restricted to following the rules and regulations. And that's about it. So we don't judge anyone. Again, we discriminate based on our knowledge. It's when you discriminate someone, it's your perception that's coming out as well. It's not theirs, right? You're judging. Again, we see the world through our own lens. We need to see the Shastra from the Shastra Chakshu and Guru Sadhu and Shastra. These are the three parameters, the things that you need to take guidance from always. So if you can't see this as in the description of the book, then you go approach Sadhu and see. This is what. So that's why it's a moment to moment thing. You need to approach someone and ask them. I see them, they're very elevated. So they are elevated. They may not have been initiated for whatever reasons. They're very elevated. And what they don't discriminate, they don't judge people, they don't blaspheme any devotees. What are they? They are Mahabhagavats. So we need to be we need to develop our own convictions. That's our purity, our advancement. There it lies.
Thank you, Mataji.
Vigyan Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So in this connection, so regarding initiation also, Prabhupada mentions that Kanishta Adhikari is a neophyte who has received Harinam initiation from his spiritual master, trying to chant holy name. And regarding Madhyama Adhikari also, he has mentioned he has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service. So how is initiation related to this? One question. And another question is, if someone who is practicing many years Krishna consciousness, we see or we hear someone else blaspheming other portion or devotee in that situation, what we are supposed to do? Because such devotees are already considered very senior devotees, or how we deal with that situation. So two questions.
Okay, first question. Yeah, I mentioned that. What is initiation and what is the spiritual initiation? Like first in the Diksha itself, the first point came up. Where in the Harinam initiation, this is when Prabhupada is establishing the movement. He was differentiating in that way. It's also true that initiation is the starting point, the Harinam initiation. Whereas the Madhyama, he is a Brahmana initiated. He has understood he has made himself qualified to receive. Diksha usually in the scriptures is referred to as Brahman Diksha, not just the Harinam Diksha. Harinam Diksha is something that was introduced later, actually, not from the beginning in the Vedic parampara that is coming through. Initiation has always been a Brahman initiation, where it is Brahmanically initiated. But right now, because of its evolution and giving opportunity to people, initiation is something that has been started with the Harinam Diksha. They do Harinam chanting, followed by the Brahmana initiation. So Madhyamas are the category when they have received Brahmana initiation. I hope that is clear. The next point is you are seeing some devotees who are at that level, then you are not, and they're still blaspheming and involving in other things. Then it has to be case by case basis, Prabhu. You cannot, again, the vision that they have is not a Brahma, Madhyama vision. It's a Kanishta. So within each category also, Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama. Okay. Within each category, there is a Kanishta, Madhyama, Kanishta, Uttama. Then in the Madhyama also, Madhyama Kanishta, Madhyama, Madhyama Uttama. Uttama also, Uttama Kanishta, Uttama Madhya, Uttama Uttama. So they are different. So this is how we have to see. These are not just one small box given to this type of people. That within these gradations also, there are various other gradations, permutations.
Okay, so total of 9, right? Okay. So yeah, thank you, Mataji. That helps a lot.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll conclude here. So next week, we'll begin the class at 9:30 and we'll try to utilize the whole time. Expect all of you to be on time and preferably with your cameras on and active participation. Sorry, I want to make it clear because it was already clear from the beginning, from the classes, this classes started. It deviates, so it's okay that we keep recognizing this fact and working towards it. I know there are challenges, some people have to deal with a lot of things, Sunday programs and stuff, but we'll do whatever we can. And I apologize if I was very heavy on some individuals, but my only intention is to all of us grow in this process collectively. Hare Krishna. Any points anyone wants to make? We'll meet next week.
Mataji, one last question. Sorry, I was holding it. Is it possible to fall down from a higher level to a lower level? Does it happen that from Madhyama to
Falling
Kanishta?
down is possible in any if you're not careful. If you stop chanting Hare Krishna for a day, you will recognize if you stop chanting Hare Krishna for a few days. Your immediate people will know if you don't chant Hare Krishna, entire community will come to know. So fall down can happen at any time. But the conviction is so strong in the higher stages that they don't want to do. Uttama will not come down, will not stop chanting. Madhyama also will not. But if it happens, it will happen. Any
Okay.
stage.
Thank you, Madhuri. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Just a quick note. I wouldn't be there next Saturday because ISKCON Scarborough have our Ratha Yatra next Saturday.
Oh, sure, problem. Okay, Hare Krishna.
So I will be missing next Saturday. Okay?
You can catch up.
Okay, Hare Krishna.